Hey, all work, no pleasure. I ain't here to make friends, big stepper. Hey, bad guy, Heath Ledger. Ready for wherever, I'll be front and center. Don't fly too close to the sun, your body chopped up by propellers. Came in arrogant, but left out in a stretcher. The comparison, y'all know y'all couldn't replicate it. Chilling in the desert, I'm good under pressure. Stick around, let me hold it down, look at what we found.
Welcome to the official podcast of PHP Architect. Join us to listen to the latest news and tech talk from our conferences, the magazine, and wider PHP community.
All right. You are listening to the PHP Podcast, the official podcast of PHP Architect. We are a podcast that focuses on the PHP programming language, our company, PHP Architect, and the PHP community. If you want to be part of the show, which streams every Thursday around 3 p.m. Pacific time, you can do so by joining us in our Discord at discord.phparch.com. You can hang out there all week, chill, but when the show's going, you'll see your chat on the live stream. But more importantly, you can suggest show titles by doing a bang title and then whatever you think the title of the show should be.
And for the kids today, bang is an exclamation point.
With me, as always, I am your humble host, Eric, and with me is John Congdon.
Hello. Yeah. We say bang title like everyone knows what bang means.
I don't know if people know what that means now or not, man. I'm not up with the language, the lingo. I'm just learning. I'm finding out all these new words people are using, like Risma or something like that, like something off Riz. Yeah. I'm like, what? What are we saying? I am old now.
All right. So I was having a Discord chat with friend of the show, Jeffrey Davidson, who's writing over there right now. And I wrote to him saying, I sent you a friend request so that we can do a group chat with you, me, and Eric. Problem is I was typing faster than my mind could go, and I put DOA period space group, and he's like, I don't know what DOA means. I'm not up with the kids. I'm like, yeah. It's not a kid thing. I just can't type.
Oh, you're back. We're back from our holiday break, or at least our first holiday break. How was your Thanksgiving, John?
Another break right around the corner, right? Man, it was pretty good. We had my wife's family over. The worst part was we're sitting there watching a football game, and my TV kept spinning, and then would play another second and then spin.
Like, I hate that.
Like, I haven't had issues with my internet in forever. I come in to restart my router and all, and one of my mesh routers just completely died. No more power to it.
Did you change the oil recently? Maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, I hadn't gotten the 80,000 miles yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wouldn't do it.
So because it's a mesh router, I'm like, well, let me just go grab another one and I'll promote it. Makes sense, right?
Works for me. No,
didn't work. No, it didn't help that I kept coming in for like 10 or 20 minutes at a time, and then I was getting in trouble because I wasn't with the family. I was in my office trying to fix this thing because, I mean, not only no football, but no music or anything around the house, right? So for the first 2 or 3 times I came in, I was using the wrong app to try and reconfigure the second mesh router. I finally figured that out, and I go to use the right app, and it has to connect to the internet, but not just the internet. It has to connect to Samsung, and I don't know what was wrong, but it just didn't work. The next morning I come in, do the exact same thing right away. Boop, up and running.
Computers are hard. They're hard.
Computers are dumb. But other than that, it was a good day. How about yours?
Oh, it went well. The weekend before Thanksgiving, after the show, actually, Friday, the wife and I drove up to San Francisco, hung out with the kid and their partner up there, and then came back on Monday. And last weekend, so not actual Thanksgiving, not on Thursday, but on Saturday, the kid from San Diego came up with their partner, and we had a little turkey dinner and chat, zoomed in the kid from up north. So that's kind of our thing. We do if we can't all physically be here, we do a little group chat thing. So it was good. The kid cooked. I mean, okay. One of the great things about having adult children, not that you don't have to pay for them anymore, because it turns out you do, but it costs more. But they can the kid in San Diego can cook like a maniac, and she pretty much cooked the entire dinner. It was great. I enjoyed it. So yeah, had a good time. Chilled in the hot tub a little bit, a couple times. So
Nice.
yeah,
So your pictures of driving in a driverless car.
dude, absolutely the way of the future. I mean, I don't understand why people like. Of course, everybody's response is, "Oh, I can never do that. I'd be too scared." Da da da. And I get that, right? But like, that's how I feel getting into Ubers lately. Like, I rarely get an Uber driver that I feel comfortable with their driving, that they're paying attention, not talking on the phone, not looking at a map. So this actually felt really good.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was. I mean, I guess it's weird because it's very limited. I guess it only works in downtown proper San Francisco, so you can't go like too far out of the downtown area. But it also doesn't come right up to you. Like when you call, this was a Waymo vehicle. When you call the Waymo vehicle, it will park around you somewhere and then let you know where it's parked. It just it's not like Uber. It doesn't find you, pull up next to you, you know? So that was a little different. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was cheaper, first off. There was no tipping, which was fantastic. So so yeah, I definitely think I've been on the Waymo beta test group for a while, but I have never gotten a chance to write them because when I had applied was one of the times I was going up to San Francisco, and I like got accepted like the day I got home from that trip.
Hmm.
But I've been getting emails of it being available in LA. And I'm like, like I don't know if I'd ever use it in LA. It just seems like that would be a pain. First off, if you don't understand Los Angeles traffic, it's horrible. It's hands down one of the worst gridlock cities in the world. I kid you not. It takes you an hour to drive a couple miles in LA sometimes.
I
So
saw I saw recently, not to cut you off on that one, but
yeah.
I saw, I haven't verified it because I don't know populations, but like there's like 15 or 20 states in the United States that have a smaller population than Los Angeles.
States, 15 or
Full,
20 states that
full
have.
states, supposedly. Again, I didn't research it. I saw the infographic and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm never going to use this information until today.
I mean, I don't know, the Midwest area, like Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota. I could definitely see
Yeah,
those.
it was like that belt of states right there. I was like,
Yeah.
so sparse.
So I don't know. It has changed my mind because it would be nice to park somewhere in LA and then be able to get around just with a
Mm.
Waymo. So I might actually have to use it someday.
Yeah, with it
I
having a
enjoyed it.
park and you go find it makes sense because the Uber drivers often stop in the middle of the road and expect you to get in.
Right.
And so I can imagine these cars needing to find, I want a parking spot to know I'm legal. You come
Yeah.
by me, get in.
It was very celebrity status like too. The one Waymo, we were down at Fisherman's Wharf and we called the Waymo to come back to the apartment, and it pulls up and it stops, and there's a bunch of tourists there because Fisherman's Wharf is like the tourist area of San Francisco.
Mhm. Right.
And it pulls up and a bunch of tourists come up to it and like I don't know if it was one family or two families, but there were a lot of people there. They all take out their phones and start taking pictures of it, and of course we see it, and we're across the street, and I'm just thinking, I hope they're gone by the time we get there, because I'm not going to stand there while they take pictures of this car. But yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I had a good time. Happy to be back at work. We've been onboarding a new developer, which real excited to have him on board. A new mobile developer as well. So that went well. He had his first meeting with the client where it was their entire team, including the owner of the company, and it went really well. So yeah, excited. It's always just. I know we should document it, and even if you document it, changes, but there's so much onboarding to do when somebody comes on, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I need to give you access to Figma because your project you're working on has a Figma design. So yeah, I'll do that. It's just never
All
stops.
the things.
It's embarrassing, man. This is why people have like HR departments
Yeah,
to
but
do this stuff.
those people hire new people like every month or every couple of months. We hire once every couple of years.
Who was our last hire?
Mike.
Was it? Oh, Mike. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, that was this year, right? We hired 2 people this year.
Wow. Did we?
Yeah, we are growing, baby. We are growing. If you're new to the podcast, John and I are 2 of the many minds behind PHP Architect, which is a magazine, a conference. Some point we're going to be training again. We also do books, and we have a consulting arm, which is, let's be real, the bread and butter of the company right now. So, but I mean, yeah, if you're in PHP or you're a PHP developer, head over to phparch.com, subscribe to the magazine. You can get digital or you can get print and digital. And yeah, just be part of our community. It'd be great. Our community is growing, John.
I know. That's great. And you mentioned the conference, so that's a great segue into talking about PHP Tech 2025. We just got through ranking all the sessions, and thank you to everyone who reached out and helped.
Yes,
I understand.
It's a huge help.
It's a huge help, and it's a huge pain in the ass when you are sitting there. So the way it works, if you haven't seen it, everything is anonymized as much as we possibly can, and you're shown 3 different sessions at random through the software that we use, and you basically rank A, B, C, or first, second, third, whichever order you would want to see those talks, right? And but it's using an algorithm and a scoring mechanism that you're going to see the same talk multiple times, because you're going to compare, talk 1 to talk 2 and 3, and then talk 1 to 5 and 6 at some different point. And the whole point is trying to get this nice bell curve of, here's your top talks, here's your bottom ones, and then somewhere in the middle, all the others kind of get dispersed, hopefully in some sort of normal curve, right? But as you're doing that, those talks move around. So your percentage of it says you're 50% done, 60% done, but that percentage doesn't always increase, or sometimes it decreases.
Yeah.
So I had multiple people reach out to me. I think it's broken. The percentage isn't going up. I think it's broken. The percentage is going down. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I can't fix it.
The further along you get, the worse that gets. Like, you hit 90%, and all of a sudden, it just like, I was at 90% probably for an entire day, between like 93 and 96% for like an entire day of just bouncing back and forth. It's crazy.
I think I got up to like 97 or 98, and then all of a sudden I was back to 92, and I'm like, I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
So it does take time. We do appreciate it. I was gonna go look for the stats on that, because it was interesting. I did close the evaluation. So if you didn't finish, don't worry about it. We've got enough information. But in general, it doesn't give me that. I thought it would give me the average time it took per person. Oh,
I know the
well, it
last
does.
time I looked. Yeah, go ahead.
It took about. Oh, it took. A Woods, I'm so sorry, man.
All right, give
I'm,
me A-Wood's. I need to know what A-Wood's number was because I
I'm,
thought mine was high.
I'm hoping he can't hear us right now. He's not listening.
Yeah, he is.
I'm
He
hoping.
already mentioned.
He's not. He doesn't have his headphones, so he's not listening right now. But I'm hoping it's because he left the screen up and walked away. But it says he spent almost 6 hours.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, A-Woods falls asleep a lot, so that might have something to do with it.
Everybody else was in that 2 to 3 hour range.
I was about to say, I think I was at like 150, or I was getting close to 2 hours.
You were at 140. You were one of the lowest ones. You were the
Oh,
lowest.
really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's why I don't trust. That's why I don't trust your ratings.
Oh, I had honest. I'll be real honest with you. This year, I had a plan of attack where, like, if I had three, and this is just how I did. Obviously, everybody's done, so it doesn't matter. But if I had 3 talks, and one was a soft talk, and one talk had PHP in the title, like if there was a PHP in the title, it automatically became number one unless it didn't make a lot of sense, right? Like, all right, this is PHP, blah blah blah. I want this one. Like, if I was at the conference, this is the one I'd be going to. Soft talks, I've gotten soft on soft talks, to be honest, because I feel like the last couple of conferences I've been to, there have been a lot of soft talks, and I'm about soft talked out. So I had a tendency to rate those a little lower. There were a couple in there on databases and SQL optimization. I'm like, man, I really hope this one gets in because I really want to see this one. But there was a lot of event sourcing. There were a lot of like more advanced talks, which I was so happy to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some event sourcing ones in there. Yeah, there's a lot in there.
After we finish recording, we'll hang out, and I brought it onto a spreadsheet. I started color coding things, so we have stuff to talk about.
So yeah, if you go to the website, first thing you might notice, I put the blog posts in here now on the landing page, so that's there. If you go to speakers, there's nothing there now, but what is there and what is important is we're near the end of the year, and some people need to have educational budgets or conference budgets they need to get rid of, like finish up before getting their new budget for next year. This is when you want to like ask bosses for travel expenses. We have a nice little convince your boss section here on what you should do and what you should say, and some good points and the whole why. And so we try to help everybody out. Yeah, check it out, and hopefully we will see you at Tech 2025 in Chicago as always. Really excited about that. So,
FFS Pearl for life. I agree.
No, stop it! You gotta stop it. Stop it. One cool thing, talking about community again, and our ever expanding empire. I have PHP Architect is now on Blue Sky for anybody. The switch over to Blue Sky has been insane. Like I must be on a list somewhere, because like every day, let me see if like every day I'm getting like I get followers, like groups of followers, like every day. So I'm clearly on a list somewhere. But
how do you do it? You're like between Twitter, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Bob's Park down the street. Like, how are you paying attention to all this stuff?
I really have it down to 3, and it's just a matter. I just check it. Like I probably check it about as much as I check email, where I'll just click through three tabs, see if there's anybody reaching out to me. Or as far as posting, it's our service, man. I hate the fact that I'm posting the same thing to 3 different services, but I've given up trying to worry about it. I want to be more engaging, and if I'm on a particular service, I will typically just engage in that service. But if I have like a general thing I'm posting, I'll just use the service that posts to all 3. And occasionally, like Mastodon, you have a lot more you can write. They don't have the same limits. So I don't know. I'm not great at it. Like I'll go months without posting anywhere, but I try to do it because I do enjoy it. Like I'm telling you, that's where most of my friends are now. This and Telegram is like it, and of course the team here at PHP Architect. But the cool thing about this, we had this conversation before. Oh, you can't see the URL bar. So if you come over to my profile, this is my Mastodon name, Eric Van Johnston, or Blue Sky handle, ericvanjohnson.bsky.social, right? That's pretty common on there. I had read an article that, if you own a domain, you can make that be your handle, your user handle. I'm like, wait a minute. So I did it with PHP Architect. So on Blue Sky, our handle is phparch.com, and that's just the handle to it. So that was pretty cool. I like that. And I got one more social thing to share with you.
Were you able to change? Did we already have a PHP Architect one and you changed it to phparch.com, or did you have to create a new profile based on that?
I changed it. Yeah. You have the option to change it. So I assumed. So I hadn't been posting to it initially because I've kind of learned my lesson to give it some time. And so the old one was phparch.bluesky.social. I assume that now redirects here. I mean, if you want to try it, you can try. But actually, if I just do this, PHP, that should be it. That's what it was, PHP Arch. Oh, it doesn't redirect. Interesting. Huh. So, yeah. No. Yeah, I was able to change it, and apparently they're just like, yeah, whatever. The old one's dead. So yeah, and speaking of groups and community, yeah, we try to do a lot for the community, and I always feel like I'm not doing enough, and I try to do more. I've been trying to do more blog posts. Speaking of which, blog posts, let's head back over to phparch.com for a quick second here. Let's share this tab. So obviously we have a blog over here. Scott Keck-Warren does a lot of stuff for us now with his YouTube channel, and he also does Community Corner. I try to post here. I'm pretty terrible at it. But the cool thing is this month's magazine, we have my article about CouchDB as a free download. So you can, if you're not a subscriber to the magazine, you can head over here and just kind of get a feel for the quality of the magazine and the work that's put into it. You can download this one article from this month's magazine and check it out. Look at this, John. Do you realize I was just looking at this today? We're on year 3 of us doing the full year of the magazine. Like 2020, whatever, 2020 or 2021.
We took over October 2021.
Yeah, so we did a couple of these. Oh wait, no, this is 2021. No, we took over in 2020.
No, we took over 2021.
Okay, so 2020, this is where we started in October. These are our
That's
covers.
2021, right?
No, this is 2020. Oh
That's
yeah.
2021.
Yeah, this is 2021, yeah. So we started here. So 2021, 2022, and now 2023. So we're on our 3rd year of doing the full year of magazines. That's cool, man. That's really cool. So kind of keeping along this thing, I got one more thing to share for the community aspect because I did make a change. If you are aware of what the heck is this thing called? Daily.dev. And all this stuff will be in the show notes, by the way. Matter of fact, I gotta start moving these things over now. So they'll post in Discord for you guys. Daily.dev. It's kind of like Reddit, I guess. It has a very Reddit feel, but it's very tech focused. And we have a PHP Architect squad, is what they call them, squads, that I've been posting into. I haven't figured out APIs to automatically post here. So this is still a manual process. But as of today, as of me writing this, anybody can post to our squad. If you join our squad, you can post to here. It won't show until one of the moderators approve it. And there's a few moderators. But yeah, so feel free if you have PHP articles or anything you'd like to contribute, do it there. Or write for us. That's always an awesome idea, is to write for us. Always looking for contributors to the magazine. We do pay, and we pay handsomely.
And you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be willing to share something you've learned or want to learn. That's a big one. If you want to learn something, consider writing an article. It helps you dive deeper so you can learn, whatever topic it is, and share it with other people.
That's very much what I did this month. I've been working with CouchDB for a while, but like very superficially. Like I haven't really done a deep dive into CouchDB and how to do things like indexing and creating design documents and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to write this article and I'm going to take the opportunity to really kind of understand what, how to index and how to create these design documents, and just put it all in the article and sent it on its way. So yeah, great way to
and if we will accept Eric's article, we will probably accept yours.
I mean, Eric had to buy the magazine to get his article in, but hey, we'll ignore all that. No, yeah, no, we do love fresh voices. That's really kind of a thing for us, is we do like fresh voices. So yeah. Oh, all right. What else you got going on with the company? Anything?
I'm sure there's tons, but I'm so excited to start going through the sessions and building our schedule. Go get your ticket now before prices go up, which they will go up once we release the schedule.
Yeah. So Kevin just posted in our Discord. Kevin, we actually talked about this on the last PHP podcast, the Pi pre-release, which is interesting. There's a new thing being talked about. I actually have it here on my board. Let me see if I can find it here real fast. Okay.
While you're doing that, Pi being the new extension loader, kind of like Composer for packages, but it's for PHP extensions, right?
Right. Which is exciting. Yeah. What was the old one? Pear and Peckle. Yeah.
Or Pickle. I think people were pronouncing it Pickle for some reason.
I think that's how I pronounce it, because I think the logo was a pickle, wasn't it?
Probably.
All right. So we use NPM now. A lot of us, I mean, it's almost a requirement to build sites nowadays is to do NPM. Have you ever used NPX, John?
Yes, but not knowingly. I think I've used it to do something. Like somebody says, you got to run this command, and I run it. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I don't know what it does, but I run it because I was told to run it. So it turns out what NPX does is it loads the application without installing the application. So it doesn't install it locally into the project, and it doesn't install it globally. It just runs it on your system. Right?
Kind of like Docker, where you can do that with Docker.
Sure, but yeah, okay, let's say yes for now. Well, it turns out there is a proposal or somebody working on a counterpart to that in the PHP world called CPX, which is meant to kind of do the same thing. It's meant to load Composer packages and run them without having to install them. And I think I have this article here. I don't know a lot about it because I just had come across it and checked it out. But like the one they use is CS Fixer, right? And so you can run CS Fixer without installing PHP CS Fixer. And I'm like, all right, I definitely can see a use for that, I guess. I don't know what it saves you from not installing it globally, but NPM has it, so I guess we should have it. But yeah, it's a new thing that's out there. It'll be in our show notes.
That is interesting. I would like to see other uses for it, because if I'm going to use PHP CS Fixture in my code base, I probably want all of us to be on the same version. So I would
Hmm.
put it, install it as a dev dependency.
Well, that would
Uh,
be interesting because, well, yeah, see, that's the thing I keep coming back to, right? Because if you need a particular version for a project, you would install it as a dev, dev dependency. So it's not doesn't get deployed to production, doesn't get pulled in for production, but all your developers have it. So I feel like this kind of would do the same thing, and I assume, and I'm making assumptions here, that you can specify versions when you use it. But I still guess I don't understand what it's buying you. Maybe saving you a couple megabytes of space. I don't know. I don't know what's doing it.
maybe you're always running the latest version. Maybe that's the part of it.
Yeah. So yeah, check it out. If you know of a good use case for CPX, or if it's something you think you'll use, let us know. I'd be curious to find out why you find that beneficial. All right. What else you got? I got some PHP stuff to talk about. You got anything you want to talk about before I hog this whole show?
No, go for it.
What is this one here? Okay, let's talk about this. Is this so all right. Let's talk about let's get lazy for a moment here. If you've used any modern day framework, Laravel does it, Symfony does it. Even if you've used packages like Doctrine does this, there's this concept of lazy objects, and the whole idea behind lazy objects is, if you don't care about them, you don't need to know about them. The package should handle it for you. But what it does is it creates an object for something. So let's say a user. Let's say you have a user's ID. You can create an object with that user ID, but it won't go get any of the information from the user table until you request something from the user table. And then it will then load that object with that stuff. And the thought behind it is, if you don't need the data yet, we don't need to put the stress on the database. So if all you need is a user object and all you want to do is give me their ID, maybe you never need the information. Maybe you just need to update the record. You're just going to give me some update information and I'll send it off. So that is now, and like I said, this has been a thing in I stopped sharing my screen. Dear God, this is horrible. This has been a thing in frameworks for a while, in packages. Well, now it's in core, which is really cool.
And it's not just for databases. That's the obvious one, as far as don't hit the database, or if your object needs data from an API to instantiate a bunch of its variables, there's no reason to do that if you're not going to actually use that object.
Right.
But it's also going to be very beneficial in your container auto wiring system. Let's say you have an object that has 5 objects that it requires in its constructor, and then each of those have 2 or 3 things that it needs, and then each of those, so that dependency tree becomes huge, and you may never use that core object, that first object, in the first place. So you get a lazy object, and then you call one function on it, and you don't need the other 5 that are loaded in the constructor. You only need one of them. Now that one gets loaded as you need it, kind of on demand. So it's not just database, not just API, but it will save loading time on lots of things, especially your very deeply nested or dependency chain type of objects.
And again, if it's not something you use, if it's something you're curious about using or something you think you can use in your code, it's definitely not list. Oh no, don't use this unless you're writing a package. Definitely is something you can use. But if you're not using it today, you still might feel the impact of this because, again, this is part of core now. So those packages out there, those frameworks that use it, will have a more closer to the code sort of implementation instead of trying to do their own implementation. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
I posted
Can't-
a couple of other articles in Discord that talk about lazy load. I'm not going to go through them all. So they'll be in the show notes and they're in our Discord channel.
That's one of the big things that we're looking forward to in 8.4 on the project I'm working on. That and a lot of the property stuff. But we're still waiting on 3 big pieces before we can move to 8.4. Some of the tooling isn't caught up to it yet. I think we're still waiting on PHP CS and PHP Stand to be 8.4 ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big one is New Relic being integrated with them and need their extension to be 8.4 compatible.
Yeah.
So it's like all our code is ready. It's like we want to go, but we can't.
So you asked me earlier how I do it, like how I stay up with all these different social networks. This is why I do this. While we're on this lazy objects page, I'll show you. Actually, let me show you this first. So I'm on Mastodon, and Derek Revens, the guy behind Xdebug, had this post a couple days ago saying, oh yeah, by the way, if you're on php.net and in the PHP manual, you can now run the code there on the site. I'm like, wait, what? And so, of course, I just happened to be looking at this PHP lazy loader, and yeah, it's right here. Like, you can change change this. Like, here, let's just do this real fast. Just, is it here? Yeah. And then you run it and you see your response right there. How awesome is that? Right there in the manual. This is so cool. If you ever want to get into one of these methods and like tinker around with it, I think the other one I was playing with was Array Map, or one of the new Array ones, and see what it can do. This is great, man. I love this stuff. So if you haven't been to PHP.net recently, you might want to check it out. They have given it a little bit of a polished new look, and they're adding new features, which is always cool.
I'll move that one over too. Speaking of Derek Revens, he was one of our evaluators for our talks, and he made it through all of them. He was one of those. It got to 90-something%, and he's like, it went backwards. I think it's broken. I'm like, you can stop. You don't have to keep going. He's like, no, I'm gonna finish this.
I know it becomes a thing after a while. Like, you have to finish it. It's not really an option at that point.
You want to feel like you can defeat the bot.
So, were there any talks that you were just like, oh yeah, this one's got to make it? Like, I need this one to make it.
I did not use the top rated talk. Going back to the stats. So you can say this talk should be in here, like it's top rated, but there's also this one doesn't belong. I did 23 doesn't belong here.
You were a lot more strict than I was.
I know.
I did 3.
I
might have only did 1 actually.
The second you did 1. The second highest was 9.
I should have been more. I should have been more because you're right.
Should have been more on that and more on the No, this one I would definitely want to see. Need to make more use of that next time.
There were a lot of AI talks this year. There was one I'm like, yeah, I definitely got to see this one. I think I only voted like a couple of like, oh yeah, I need this one in. Like, I think the AI talk was one. I felt like there was like another 1 or 2 that I might have done.
Yeah, you did 3 that way.
Yeah. So
can I share your top 3 or no?
Yeah, no, I don't care. I mean, keep in mind, if you're hearing this doesn't mean you're in the conference. It means that I had said that I think these belong in the conference, there's still a lot of other factors involved.
Lots of other factors. The beauty of PHP value objects, which I agree.
Yeah, that
Hands-
was. Oh
hands
yeah, I
down.
forgot about that one. Yeah,
Unleashing AI power with Prism.
Prism. Somebody had mentioned Prism in Discord already. Prism.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I gotta see this talk. Yeah,
And real-time PHP WebSockets, push notifications, and beyond.
yeah. I've been real time. I was on the fence about that one, but yeah, I kind of want to see something like that in there. Yeah. Yep, those are my three those are the ones I'm campaigning for. So if you're one of the submitters of those three, know you have me on your side. I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
Like you said,
So
unfortunately,
what's the
lots
next thing? Like, so first thing again, that was just the first round. This is a round. So John and I didn't know who submitted what. So and obviously everybody else who did it didn't know who submitted what. So the idea now is to kind of see what talks piqued everybody's interest, and then we try to figure out, okay, how many of these speakers have multiple talks that are in that area? How many speakers are U.S. based as opposed to overseas that we have to bring in? Are any of these speakers, are there companies? Would their companies be interested in sponsoring? There's like a lot of things that go into it, but yeah, we've started the process, and then again, not all speakers, even if they get accepted, except to something else may conflict, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I can't talk. So it's a process.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it though. Can't wait to get the schedule going.
This is the most exciting part, is like getting the talks lined up and then getting them announced and getting some hype behind it. We'll have Scott start interviewing some speakers, and it's fun stuff. Really excited about it.
This is the plan. It's coming up.
Yeah. All right. Kind of going through my list here.
I'm interested in the second one that's down there. I haven't looked at it at all.
Which one?
FBI.
Okay, we can talk about that.
I got disable ad blocker. Dang it.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm sharing it right here. This was actually contributed by my wife, who said, hey, is this really a problem? So if you're not familiar with the whole SMS debacle between iPhones and Android, for the longest time, iPhones did their SMS through their chat system, blah, blah, blah. Basically, this was the whole red and blue bubble thing, where if somebody on an iPhone, is it blue and green? Yeah, blue and green.
Yep.
If somebody on an iPhone tried to share an image in a group chat, especially with somebody who's on an Android, that image would, like, the quality of it would be really poor. Typical Apple approach to things. They want to do things their way. But Apple had recently adopted RCS, which is the standard of how SMS is not SMS anymore. It's RCS.
It went the other way too. Android to iPhone was also degraded. I don't know if Apple degraded it or if that's just the way it worked.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I ever knew that. I have never heard that complaint. But so anyways, Apple finally conceded, and they decided to start to use RCS. I don't know where it's at in the rollout. I assume it's probably done by now. But now there's a new problem, and it's specifically between not carriers, not network carriers, but iPhones and Android. So even though both systems are using RCS, there's some sort of exploit. So if somebody from an iPhone tries to text to somebody on an Android, that text can get exposed. And the opposite way as well, to John's point, Android to iPhone. Those texts are not encrypted end to end as they are between iPhones and Androids when they text between each other. So it's not end to end encrypted. So they can be like compromised. So yeah, this is a thing. It's like it just
Huh.
doesn't stop.
Interesting.
It's called it's a I don't know if it's a targeted attack or it's a coordinated attack called Salt Typhoon, or the group is Salt Typhoon, and of course they believe China's behind it, and yeah, uh, I don't know. I mean, if you really want to be secure when you're texting to other people who see, I'm amazed that this is hardware specific and not network specific, but I guess it has to do with how they manage encryption. I really don't understand it, but there are other solutions out there. Telegram, a Signal. I wouldn't trust WhatsApp anymore, not since Facebook took it over. But yeah, there's other
They're
solutions
they're,
out
they're
there that
claiming
ended.
WhatsApp's fully encrypted.
Oh, in this article.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Unstoppable growth of WhatsApp. Then along comes a surprising hurdle. Yep. Yeah. So I never trusted I never trusted text messages. It bugs me when I get like codes through because you have certain websites that's the only way it'll do two factor. My bank is like that. It'll do two factor either by sending you an email or sending you a text. I'm like, I'd rather you not do either, right? Which is a good like. So they're talking specifically iPhone and Android. What about these services like my bank? Like if when that sends me a message to my phone, is it encrypted? Do I know if it's encrypted? It bugs me. So yeah, it's a thing, man. Security never ends. Always bad people out there doing
It
things.
seems like banks are the ones that are always so far behind. The ones that should be like most on top of their security
Yeah,
are so far behind the times.
yeah. So yeah, that was the latest. Again, it'll be in the show notes. Speaking of iPhones, John. So we've had some changes coming here in the U.S. and I did a little panic buy real fast because one of the administration that's coming in next year has pretty much said that across the board they're going to start putting down tariffs in China, Mexico, and Canada are like their three big targets that they're working on. And my phone was like 3 years old. I'm like, okay, that's probably the most expensive thing I'm gonna have to buy in the next couple of years. I should just go ahead and get another phone. And John had been like, John had converted back to the iPhone. I think the last iPhone I had was iPhone 3. And John had converted this recently to iPhone and had liked it and said, it was good enough. And so I went and got an iPhone. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Mhm.
on board with you as far as liking it yet, but
It
it's
took me a
fine. I
while.
mean,
It took me. It wasn't an immediate like, oh, I
yeah.
love this thing, but
There's just things like, why is this still a problem? All right, I'm going to tell you right now, Apple people, if you're an iPhone user, in the next year or two, when iPhone releases this feature, don't go all ape shit about how wonderful they are and how they're reinventing things. I should be able to close all my open apps in one button. I shouldn't have to do each freaking app. Every other phone being Android lets you do this. Like I can close all my open apps with one button. I don't know why. I'm like, I must be missing something. I started, Googling it because I realized like not everything's going to work the same, and there are little differences. Everybody complains about this. It's like it can't be that hard for Apple to figure this out. Close all the open apps. Why is that so difficult? Good God!
why do you
And
need
then
to? What's the big deal?
And then my kid had converted over to iPhone. I think that was her first iPhone recently. And so I told her, I'm like, yeah, I went and picked up an iPhone, and she goes, yeah, she goes, I already know what you're gonna say. The volume thing drives you crazy. I'm like, what do you mean the volume thing? She goes, oh, you can only control the one thing with the volume, like the ring, the volume. It's all just one volume bar. I'm like, no. You just hit it and then you expand it and it'll show you all three. She's like, no, Dad. You're thinking of Android. This is iPhone. It doesn't let you do that. I'm like, that's impossible. There's no way there can be one volume button for everything. It doesn't work that way. And now it bugs the hell out of me. That she brought it to my attention. I'm like, God damn it, Apple. Just give me volume for the different things. Media, ringtone. Really, that's all I need is media, ringtone. Just give me those two. I don't get it, man. And then Apple will do it. People go crazy.
And
Apple's so wonderful. What about notifications? Oh, and yeah, that was the third one. Yeah, notifications. Yeah,
that was my wife's complaint today was when somebody walks in front of the door and she gets a notification from Ring. It's like so loud. She's like, I just want to lower that one app. I'm
right.
Like,
yeah.
I haven't researched it yet, but I can.
Yeah. And even just missing notifications is a little clunkier than on Android. I just felt like it was much easier to dismiss notifications, but I don't know. All you iPhone users out there who thought you were like so above and beyond Android users, you're not. Trust me, man. I'm backing your camp here, and I'm telling you, you're not. You're missing a lot of basic stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the and again, I already told John this. The real driving factor to me, when we were in Portland at Cascadia PHP, I saw John's Apple Watch. I'm like, oh, I want that. and I contemplated so long how well the Apple Watch would work if I didn't have an iPhone, because I have a Mac, I have an iPad, I just don't have an iPhone. I didn't have an iPhone at the time, so I contemplated, and of course, Pixel came out with their new watch, the bigger face one, which is the big thing for me. I'm a big guy; I need a big face, and I'd been contemplating it, and finally, like I said, I did a little panic buy. I'm like, okay, if they implement these tariffs and all this crap goes up in cost, I'm going to cost myself this much more money if I don't.
It's not going to cost us anymore. It's going to cost those countries money.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but they're going to pass it on to us.
It's a joke. It was a joke.
I know. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm iPhone user now. And
welcome to the camp.
Works fine. That's another thing.
We will accept your blood donation soon.
I'm going to tell you, Apple. So I've been an iPad user for a long time. I always liked their iPad, and then I got a Pixel tablet. There's some things you need to think about on your iPad, Apple. So the Pixel tablet, first thing, it lets me keep it in its case, but it's wirelessly charged. Whereas with my my iPad, it's wirelessly charged because I have it on the keyboard. But as soon as I pop it off, it's no longer in the case, which kind of sucks. But the split screens, so I know iPad has a split screen, but both applications have to support split screen. The Pixel doesn't care. Like, you can split screen any two apps. It's the app just does the resolution based on the size it has to display. So you can split the screen, you can change the width of the split, any two apps. I'm like, yeah, this makes so much sense. Do that. But, and I know it's a big thing on iPad as well, where you have these apps. The Tesla app for my solar battery is one that's not formatted for a tablet. So it's just the iPhone app, and it does that thin thing. And you have the little button that you can like make it whiter, but it doesn't do anything. Again, I don't know what Pixel's doing. You do that on Pixel? So Pixel does the same thing. They have certain apps that aren't designed for a tablet. You hit that expand thing, and it covers the entire screen, and it looks fine. Like, it doesn't, I can't tell that it wasn't meant to be on that size screen. So Apple, get on it. Come on. That was a lot of ranting about Apple.
Kevin, you ask why you still need a watch? We're old. We're used to having watches on our arms. I like looking at my watch real quick without having to reach into my pocket and pull my phone out.
Yeah. We got to know when we're sleeping and when we're pooping, and the watch tracks all that for you.
Yep.
All right. And what else we got? Anything?
Not a lot.
I'm out of breath.
I think
I've
we're
ranted.
wrapping it up. We got stuff to talk about off the air. I'm excited.
You just want to get to the talks, don't you?
I'm excited.
Let's do it live, man. Let's just share with everybody. Let's let everybody contribute with accepting talks. I'm really curious about.
You had your chance to help.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who some of the top speakers are. So, all right. Well, I guess that's what we'll be doing over the next couple of days. And again, we won't put anything on the website probably until next year because everybody's got to figure out if they get accepted and if they can make it and make arrangements, and there's a lot that still has to happen, but it's on its way. And tune in to future podcasts if you want other secrets that are accidentally shared in the background that people might not notice for shows at a time. You're muted though, damn it.
Maybe. You never know. I can repeat myself. It's all good.
All right. I think that's it. This has been episode 2024.12.5 of the PHP.
We forgot to say that at the beginning.
I forgot to do a lot of things at the beginning. Like it hasn't felt natural yet. I'm getting there. Like I'm already starting. I noticed when I was doing it today, I'm already starting to parrot the opening of PHP Ugly when we were doing it. I'm like, wait a minute, that's what I said for PHP Ugly, but it really applies here. It
does. And it was a good opening. I liked it.
Yeah. So I think I'm just going to just embrace that. That's it. Keep coding.
Thank you, Dio. Are we doing that? Keep listening.
I'm Eric.
I'm John. We just got to figure this out. Keep coding, keep listening, keep reading.
Keep reading. We got to get better at that.
Podcast, the official podcast of PHP Architect, the industry's leading tech magazine and publisher, focused on PHP and web development. Subscribe today at phparch.com to see what the leaders in the community and industry